I call this Village of Greenhills public hearing and council meeting to order for November 25th, 2025. Clerk call the roll, and our acting clerk is here. The manager will be acting.
By motion. No, go ahead. Halter?
Here.
Hermes? Lee?
Here.
Hudson?
Here.
Warner?
Here.
Walther?
Here.
Moore?
Here. Okay, have a prayer.
Lord God, Almighty Father, creator of mankind and author of peace, as we are ever mindful of the cost paid for the liberty we possess, we ask you to bless the members of our armed forces, give them courage, hope, and strength. May they ever experience your firm support, gentle love, and compassionate healing. Be their power and protector, leading them from darkness to light. To you be all the glory, honor, and praise, now and forever. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I have a public hearing to consider an amendment recommended by the Village Greenhills Planning Commission to the Greenhills Codified Ordinances, Section 1143.06, parentheses 2, procedure regarding the review of applications for a certificate of appropriateness within the local historic district.
Do you want me to give a little intro here? Okay, and there were some copies of this at the back. And what it does is show you what the paragraph currently reads in our code, and then below the changes that would be made to it. It's a relatively simple paragraph at this point in time, which has to do when somebody submits an application for a certificate of appropriateness to make a change of any kind in the historic district. And the proposed new language identifies the specific items that our historic consultant can review and approve quickly, like a color or a shingle type if it matches what's there, things like that, versus the items that Planning Commission wanted to be specific in ensuring that those went before the board for all her advice, of course, the consultant's advice, but their discussion and input. Those items would include major work on a structure, including but not limited to new construction, demolition, expansion of floor area, or substantial changes in building materials or building elements. So those are the main differences that we're trying to achieve with this amendment.
Okay. All right, do we have anybody who wants to make a comment on it? And the comments will be limited to 4 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Pat Andron. I live at 32 Chalmers Lane, which is in the heart of the historic district. I've been concerned for many years regarding some of this high-handed things that have been going on, but I do have some questions regarding this particular resolution. I feel that there was a discussion at the last Planning Commission meeting that I attended, and it was that notification, which just says shall notify, is actually supposed to be by law, by registered mail, and that's not mentioned here. And when you say adjoining properties, I'm not sure why the entire neighborhood would not be notified, just like over on Beckford when they were going to do that four-family. That entire neighborhood showed up to complain. So for you to indicate you're only going to notify the adjoining properties is totally not acceptable. So we need to not pass this tonight. It should be something that is more defined and in exact compliance with what your historic preservation officer explained to you, the guidelines, Ms. Kovac, and I'm not sure why you would have this written up and not include the law on this. So I don't know if you're trying to save postage, if you're trying to just give the Planning Commission some kind of wielding power that they shouldn't have. This is totally, the other thing is that it was pointed out that nobody on our Planning Commission has had any training, including the manager, regarding historic preservation. And I think it's a crying shame that if this town is claiming to be the National Historic Landmark child of grace within this county, for you not to even go to the trouble of being trained or have anyone sitting on your planning commission that lives in the historic district, that's pathetic.
Anybody else?
Good evening. I'm Terry Trinan. I live in the historic district and have for 45 years. I have a few concerns with the language of the proposal. Concerning the first paragraph, there is no definition in our code for adjoining, and I think we need a definition. That could either be a radius of, say, 200 feet as an example of people that need to be notified, or it should also include if a townhouse is making an application, all of the other townhouses and property owners within that multifamily building should be notified. And that should be specifically defined either in this section or in the definitions for the historic district overlay. They're not there now. Definitely have a concern that you have separated the historic preservation officer's duties from those of the Planning Commission. It looks like you have our officer doing the namby-pamby things, but you have not made that officer a part of the Planning Commission meetings when they're reviewing applications in the historic district. That preservation officer needs to be present. It needs to be by code that they need to be there. They need to be on the record making their recommendations and their determinations. Nobody on our preservation or planning and preservation commission currently has any training to make the decisions that have to be made. So I would like to see a definition for the first paragraph and a requirement that the preservation officer has to be in person at any meetings or hearings for any kind of determination. Then secondly, the second paragraph, the end part where it says if the officer has not responded within 30 days on an application, the application is automatically approved. That is crazy. That means I put in an application, drop it off at this office, get my receipt. I want to paint my house bright green with purple polka dots. The application can get lost in this office somewhere, or it gets sent down to the preservation officer's office and gets lost down there. There's no track of it. Nobody knows where it's at. And in 30 days, I'm out painting my house the way I want to. That clause needs to be out of there now. Also, I have a problem with there's no public notice of what the preservation officer is doing in that second paragraph. In Greenhills, we have multi-units attached to one another, up to 6 townhouses individually owned by separate owners. All of these buildings across the historic district have multiple different party wall agreements. Some of them are very strict in what you can and cannot do to the outside of the homes. If the preservation officer is making determinations and giving someone the go-ahead on something, but there's a party wall agreement that says you can't do anything unless you have approval of all of your neighbors, where's the lawsuit start? Who gets pulled into it? How do you know that this person is getting approval until you pull home and the middle unit in your building is painting the building a different color? They're not allowed to.
4 minutes.
So that might be something for Mr. Forbes to look at,
Time out.
is are we opening ourselves to legal issues?
Okay, thank you.
That's it, thanks.
Anybody else? All right. Have any comments from any council people?
I do, Mr. Mayor. I wouldn't mind hearing from the village manager on the party wall agreements and the 30-day automatic approval. I can see the constituents' points with the party wall agreements, because I know even as a realtor in a real estate contract, when there is an HOA or when there are any additional documents, I mean, it's hard to even get that stuff within 30 days. So I could see that possibly leading to litigation. So I would just be curious to hear more on that, or the 30-day automatic approval.
Do you want to repeal the party wall one?
Sure, I can address both of those
Okay,
things
go
if
ahead.
you'd like. I mean, party wall agreements are essentially private agreements between private parties, and the village doesn't have any authority to be in the middle or enforce or have anything to do with the enforcement of party wall agreements. Those are private civil matters between private property owners. All this is talking about is what the government regulations are.
Gotcha.
Anything beyond that with respect to private party wall agreements is a civil matter between adjoining property owners that are parties to that party wall agreement. With respect to the last sentence about if it's not acted upon within 30 days that it's deemed approved, that's very common language in zoning and other government regulations, and the basis is generally, I understand the concern, but generally the basis is to prevent the governmental agency from ignoring applications. What this boils down to is private property rights, and folks have a right to do things with their private property within the bounds of the approved law. And I mean, this is certainly something that council consider. If you don't want that language, I mean, I don't feel strongly one way or the other if you include that or not. I mean, the flip side of that is I've also seen codes that say if it's not acted on within 30 days, it's deemed denied. Again, that cuts both ways, because it would allow the governmental agency to sit on something for more than 30 days and have it be denied automatically. So if council is interested in removing any sort of automatic decision, you can adjust. This is just the language that was recommended for approval by Planning Commission. Council has the ability to make amendments to that before you take your final action.
What is our process? Do we have anything where it's like SIM certified to make sure that it's not being lost in the mail?
No, people typically drop them off or email them. And I guess if I can just add on to what Mr. Forbes was saying, I personally am glad that it's there, mostly for the resident. It would be unfair for them to think this could drag on forever. Typically, when they come in, they're hoping for a decision within a day or two, and it's, might have to go a few days, because we try to act on them quickly. But I think for them, it's some assurance that the process will keep moving along. And I do have a couple other comments I'd like to
Okay.
make on notification. Elsewhere, there is a notification, I do believe it's 200 feet, abutting property owners, which I would think we do all understand what an abutting or an adjoining property is. And notifications, and I'm sure that's why that community was there that night. Because I went a little further too, you know, if somebody's house was next to that or looked at it or something, I expanded that out. So I felt folks were well informed, and you could tell from the meeting.
People can't read your mind.
They didn't have to, they had a notice that they received. So I think we were covered there. Let's see, came up about the consultant and the requirement for her attendance to be in writing. It is in her contract that she will participate at the planning commission meetings. It's also in the code, the historic section, that planning commission will act with the advice of a historic consultant. So I think we've got that covered as well. Training, yes, that's an issue, and we are working on some pretty extensive and exciting training for after the first of the year. And the two planning commission reps can talk about that if you'd like, but we have pretty many things going on that right now, and it's very exciting for our historic district. Thank you.
All right. That'll be it for the public hearing. Approval of minutes of previous meetings for September the 9th and for October 28th. The minutes will stand approved unless there's any corrections.
No corrections.
All right. Okay, we have public presentation, introduction of the school resource officers, Susan Tobergate and Anthony White.
First, before we get to the introductions, I just want to acknowledge Superintendent Steve Denny. I think you all know him, but if not, superintendent since how long?
May of 24.
Okay, May of 24. And I'm going to talk about Steve, but I also don't want to leave out his assistant, Jeremy Day, who's been from the very beginning with us in this whole project. So I went back, Steve, and actually looked to try to figure out when we start talking about this. So we started the school walks back in December of 23, actually December 11th, that we rolled that out. And then we signed an MOU probably soon after you came in May. We started right away. We signed an MOU in December of last year, actually December 3rd. So, and here we are almost a year later, and it's finally come to fruition. And honestly, it would have not happened without Steve and his team and Jeremy and the school board allowing it to go through. So very grateful for Steve. Worked with him before he became superintendent. It's always been the individual that really brings the safety to the students as a top priority. And that was evidenced right when he took control of the superintendent position, that he approached me saying, what can we do to get SROs in the two Greenhills schools? So with that, we sat down, had plenty of meetings, looked at all different models, and we came up with a model of two part-timers. That way we can fulfill the South Campus and also the alternative building, the White Building. So I just wanted to bring acknowledgement. I actually wrote a bunch of notes down. I didn't even look at them. But I think I got the point across that I just can't say enough about Steve and his team for making this happen. So, and I think financially it's the best for both worlds as far as, you know, Winton Woods is paying for the bill, the cost of the SROs, but if we would have just hired one full-time SRO, it probably would have been about $20,000 more than what we got out of two part-time SROs, and we covered two buildings instead of having one bouncing back and forth. So everything worked out good, and I truly appreciate all your hard work with everything, make this happen. If it wasn't for you guys, this night wouldn't have happened. So
Same question.
we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, council, as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My toughest decision of the day is who I start with, introduction-wise. So I flipped a coin, and Officer Anthony White won. But then I thought, ladies before gentlemen. Susan, come on. This is Susan Tabarte. The G is silent, okay, in the name. The mayor swore in Susan on October 1st as a part-time Greenhills police officer.
She's a resident of Ross, Ohio. She completed her a little more than 2-week orientation in the office, all the administrative stuff, the general orders. Although she's part-time assigned to the school, she still needs to know all 200 general orders that we have inside and out. So she did a lot of reading. She was deployed to the South Campus. She started October 13th, so she's been there since for the whole day, this whole school day, and I think she likes it. I know she likes it, but I know the kids like her, and they're going to hate to see her go, because when Anthony comes on board and goes and gets deployed on December 1st, he's going to the South Campus, and she's going to be at the community building. So they have an understanding that they can work together. I think it's good that they both know both schools, faculty, kids, and stuff, so they can work amongst each other and switch a week or two here or there, ever how they feel they want to handle that. So they got that freedom to do that. She began her career with the Hamilton Police Department. She served 8 years on patrol with the Hamilton Police Department. She left there on good terms, nothing. She left there to pursue the university, so she went there after 8 years and worked the rest of her career at Miami University, where she rose to the rank of detective sergeant in charge of investigations there at the university. So she's got a lot of experience with kids, probably a little older, and probably dealing with other things. But it was nice to know my daughter is at Miami, and she was up there protecting her and their whole crew. They do a great job up there. So as far as education, she has an associate's degree in sociology from Miami University. She has a Bachelor of Arts in Management and Human Relations from Rebecca Nazarene University. She's also a graduate of the Northwestern University of Police Staff and Command School, which is a prestigious school for law enforcement officers. She's already, like I said, already established a great rapport, and she'll tell you it's nothing better than the kids running in the door and giving you a hug, and that's what we're hoping to establish, that good bond between the young kids so as they move up. Police officers aren't bad people. We're there to help them. So eventually when they get to the high school, Steve, they have a relationship with a police officer and a bond and stuff like that. And ultimately the protection of the kids from anything that may occur. So she's going to be a tremendous asset, no doubt in my mind, to not just the schools, but the village and the police department. She brings a lot of knowledge, and it took a long time finding 2 qualified people. I passed up on a lot of people because I just wasn't going to bring them in a breathing body just to fill a position for you. And I'm totally confident in these 2 individuals, so I appreciate you coming on board today. Like to introduce your family?
I just have my 3 boys here with me, Owen, Josh, and Jake. So college, 5th grade and 8th grade. So I do have experience with the younger kids.
Thank you.
And I did inform them before we came up, she's been starting her day at 8:15 at the South Campus, and now she's going to have December 1st start to be there at 7 a.m., so they're going to make sure she's up. Doesn't forget, she has to be there at 7 and not 8:15. Anthony? Hope I didn't hurt your feelings.
No. Yes, sir.
Anthony White, he was sworn in by the mayor on November 13th, so not too long ago, as a part-time police officer for the village of Greenhills. He's, as we mentioned, going to be joining Susan. He's going to be assigned to the Winton Woods campus primarily. He's a resident of Forest Park, so his travel is
Minimal.
5 minutes. Tell you what I would do for that. He began his career in 1999, his law enforcement career, as a probation officer with Hamilton County Juvenile Court. He graduated then, he moved on to the Cincinnati Police Department, graduated from the academy in June of 2007. He recently retired on September 13th, 2025 from the city of Cincinnati. He spent the last 8 years, up until 2016, he was in uniform patrol. And then in 16, he went to as a school resource officer. So his responsibility was 8 schools in the city that he was responsible for. The biggest one being Taft High School. So he stayed busy, I'm sure. And one thing, when I was doing the interview process, I was like, "Are you going to be bored?" You know, he's like, "No, I'm not going to be bored. No, I'm going to enjoy every minute, and I'm going to." There's no doubt in my mind, Anthony's going to do a great job, just as Susan. He's got a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology with a minor in Social Work from Morehead State University. He brings nearly 2 decades of youth-focused public safety experience, and once again, I can't be more excited. He's going to do a great job along with Susan. And once again, Steve, I think you already know, but by the time this is rolled out, you're going to realize how special we are to have these children in school. So it's one of those things you hope you never need for a safety standpoint, but that is an added layer to the safety of the children. But it's just as much as working with the kids. They're not school disciplinarians, but Susan has been in some classrooms reading to the kids, did another one on the Bill of Rights. After they spent a week on the Bill of Rights, we went in and talked to them, so it's going to be great.
We're hoping you are bored, by the way.
Right. I don't know, after the first couple of weeks at South Campus, Susan came in after her first couple of days and said, "You pulled a switch and bait on me." I thought you said nothing happened, and I was like, "It was nothing major, right?" And probably something, had you not been there, they probably wouldn't have called us back, so, but it's all good, so. Would you like to introduce your wife?
This is my wife Nancy of 28 years. Yeah.
He looked that up before.
And all 3 of my kids attended Linwood School, so.
Oh, neat.
2 of them graduated from Linwood High School and 1 of them graduated from Fairfield. We love it. Been here for 27 years. Been back for 27 years. So I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here.
All right. Okay, good,
It's
great.
nice, he's looking, summers, if school's not in session, they're not working, so, his daughter, actually, his oldest daughter plays soccer in France, professional.
Wow.
Might be a little vacation over there, have a little time, downtime. And his other daughter just graduated from West Virginia, and, she'll be back home, so she's also a soccer player, so. We appreciate the 2 of you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. You all don't have to hang out, you can go celebrate. Yeah, I want to drive home.
Okay,
That's a nice presentation.
up next, Greenhills Fire Chief, Tony Spaeth.
Good evening, everyone. I was sitting here reflecting on just how fortunate we are to have this kind of, protection in a little village. There are municipalities across the United States that don't have school resource officers in their schools. And so I think it's awesome. So, just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Chief.
Our final statistics for October of 2025, we had 25 fire runs and 57 EMS runs for a total of 82. That is a record month for us. That's versus 45 runs the same month last year, so that's an 82% increase in calls for service. Out of the EMS details, we utilized mutual aid 10 times for about 17.5%, which is an improvement of 14% over last year. So we continue to see the kinds of numbers that we had hoped to see with staffing the fire department 16 hours a day. Our total fire average response time, this is for all runs, for staffed time and volunteer time, is 5.16 minutes, and time of dispatch to on scene. That's what response time is, as a reminder. When we're in the firehouse staffed, it's 3.5 minutes. And so again, the kind of results that we knew we would have For the month of October, we provided automatic aid to neighboring communities 14 times, and we received automatic aid 15 times. So pretty even. Our EMS response time, our total EMS response time, which is the whole month, 24/7, was 6.5 minutes. That was last year. This year, it's 4.3 minutes, or a 2.13 minute improvement, or 33%. During staffed hours, 3.4 minutes versus the 6.5 last year. So that's a over 3-minute improvement from dispatch to on-scene time, 47% improvement. And then this year during non-staffed hours, our EMS response time was 5.45. And again, like I said, last year it was 6.5. And so even when we're not in the firehouse, we're a minute better, or 17%. So very happy with those numbers, and just goes to show you what a difference we can make. So far this month, and what is today, the 25th, we've made 60 EMS runs and 22 fire runs. That's 82. That's the same number we had for the whole month last month, and we've got 5 days to go. So we're gonna have another record. So over the past 2 months, we're 77 runs more in that 2-month time frame than the same time frame last year. So the demand for the service is definitely increasing. And there are a number of reasons for that, which we can discuss at some point at a more appropriate time. But just thought I would share that with you. I have some holiday fire safety tips that I thought I would share. And so these are all common sense, but I tell you, when we go make these responses, some of these common sense things are not followed. And so, you know, we have to continue to preach our fire safety gospel here. And so candles obviously need to be attended. Make sure there's nothing within at least 12 inches or more of the candle, including flammable materials, curtains, those kind of things. Never leave them unattended. Christmas lights, try to shut them off in your house overnight. I know everyone leaves them on outside overnight, and that's fine. But when you put them up, make sure they're not frayed or damaged. And if they're sparking or anything, make sure that you discard them in the appropriate way. Cooking continues to be, this is the time of year when people don't cook all year long, and then all of a sudden everyone's a chef and wants to get into the kitchen, and we have, you know, incidents. And so, you know, just keeping flammable items away from cooktops and making sure that kids and pets aren't around, and those kind of things are always something to keep in mind. We also like the battery-operated candles, which are much safer and nicer, so if you can use those, that's great. And then fireplace maintenance, just making sure that your fireplace is inspected by a certified chimney sweep or a contractor, and so that if you do have the fires in the fireplace, that you don't have incidents due to the lack of maintenance. And so hopefully by following those tips and many others, we can all have a safe and enjoyable holiday season here in the village of Greenhills. I also wanted to mention just a couple of other things. Number one, our hydrant program is 100% complete. The 2 hydrants that we had problems with have both been repaired, so our water delivery system is in tip-top shape and ready to go for the winter. And like our school resource officers, hopefully we don't have to use them. On Halloween night, we went out and gave candy out in the fire trucks and the ambulance for some safety during Halloween. We attended 2 PR fire prevention events at Whitten Woods South Campus. And so just like the police, the fire department, we are in the schools. Steve and I meet once a month, and we love being in the school, talking about fire safety, and we're in there doing the inspections. And it, you know, I think it's really a good group team effort from the side of public safety, both police and fire, what we're able to do with the school district. So we thank them. We did have a structure fire on the 10th of November over on Beckford, about an $80,000 loss. I wanted to publicly say that Officer Moore did a great job that morning. The police were first there, and he went and knocked on doors and made sure everybody was out of the building at the time. And so that fire is still under investigation, and if you're around that morning, you can see the awesomeness of the amount of mutual aid that we have available to us to assist when we have these incidents. And so, again, I've said this before, but for a house fire, you're going to get probably 10 units on dispatch. And so you get 2 ladder trucks, you get 5 engines, you get 3 district chiefs, you get a fire chief, and you get an ambulance or 2. And so it takes that many people working in unison and coordination through a shared SOG that we have with all of our neighboring departments. And so nobody got hurt, and everybody got out of the building, and no firefighters were hurt, and the fire went out relatively quickly. So just wanted to make that comment. On the 8th of November, we had our open house / basket raffle, which was nicely attended. Want to thank the community that came out and supported us with that. Also want to thank Julie Sheets, Gina Sheets, and Helen Caponelli. The 3 of them really are the catalyst for this event. They do 99% of the work, and it takes a long time. It's like they work on it. They're probably working on next year's already, just to put it in perspective for you. And so it's a lot of work, and the money's great, but it's one of those things where the return is not quite what you would expect for the amount of labor that we put into it. So we're constantly looking at ways where we can raise money more efficiently, and it doesn't take so much work. And so we continue to evaluate those things. And so I would say the same thing about the turkey raffle. And so we just completed that. We drew the winner Saturday. We went door to door with the envelopes. And again, where that's a successful event, the percentage of green envelopes that we get back is not great. And so, again, it's a lot of work. It's money that we earn that we need. But again, when you look at the amount of labor that it takes to make that happen, those are things that we constantly need to be evaluating. And so I will keep you all abreast as to what we do and what our plans are going to be for next year. But that being said, the community support is outstanding, and we really, really appreciate it. I wanted to say that, this time of the year, when we get into the first part of December, we've just completed like the most busiest quarter that we have in the fire service. It's fire prevention week, it's hydrant maintenance, it's inspections, it's all of these things. And now we're starting to wrap up this year, and we're looking forward to 26 and thinking about what our goals and what our business plan is going to be for next year. And we'll start working on that really, really soon. And then I also wanted to mention that next Friday, obviously I'm sure it will be mentioned, is Light Up Greenhills. Santa Claus will be delivered to the Commons on one of the fire trucks, and we're always happy to participate in that. And then November anniversaries. In November of 1983, I joined the fire department. So that's 42 years ago. The following November, Tom Hoffman joined the fire department, and so he's celebrating 41 years on the fire department. And then Cameron Young, who is one of our newer members, he's been around 4 years, and so he's celebrating his 4-year anniversary. And I believe that will conclude my information for you all tonight. Any questions or comments for me?
Actually, I do have one, Tony. When you look at the calls from one year to the next, do you? I'm sure you break it down into categories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the type of call. Can you notice any patterns when you have the spike of calls that you're getting? Like, is there a shift of more of a certain type of incident that's happening versus others?
Not necessarily. The mix stays pretty, evident. Like the instances of overdoses and things has been going down over the past few years. It's still a valid concern, and we still have them. But that has gone down a little bit, but it's just a little more of everything.
Okay.
And so, again, as the population gets older, as more cars come through town, and a number of factors, the shopping center is full of businesses, it's full. So there's people in the village during the day. There's 2,000 people at 147 Farragut, and so Those kind of things lend themselves to more demand for our service.
Thank you.
And it's noticeable that there are more runs. I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
you
almost
can hear
twice as many as last year.
Well,
I mean,
you can hear them. I mean, that's.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've, in the past 2 months, you know, it is very unusual for us to have 2 runs at the same time. You know, that happened 4 times last month. Last week, we had 4 runs within an hour and 20 minutes. 3 of them were within 40 minutes. And so we were able to handle 2 of them, and Forest Park came in for 1, and then there was a auto accident up on Sharon Road at the same time, so the 4th one was handled by Wyoming. And so it's just, you never know.
Yeah.
But appreciate all of you and all of your service to the community. I know what you all do is thankless at times, and I think you all are doing a great job. And for what we have here in the village, there's certainly way more good than bad going on, and I, for one, really, really appreciate it. Happy to be here, so happy holidays to you all. I'm sure we'll see you again in December.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tony.
Years of service. Means you're 48.
Okay. Up next, Lisa Knack, do you have something to report? America 250 Committee?
Good evening. I left my notes. I'm going to start with what I think is great news. So far, we have picked up 7 new volunteers.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Good.
Yeah, I'm excited. It is. So it's, you know, you got to get the flywheels start to spin, and then eventually it'll. So I'm really excited about that. We picked up several at the Harvest Fest. I had the community engagement table, which had several activities going on, and notification, the 250 brochure or the flyer was handed out for folks who were interested. You know, a couple folks grabbed and returned their volunteer, and then we also had the comment boards, which we should be seeing those if they're not already, I don't know, up on the website. I didn't get to look at it. So that was great. We will, and so look for us again at the Light Up Greenhills on December 5th. Friday, December 5th, we'll have another community engagement table. The Community Development Committee, who this project sits under, was presented with a few things. One, they received a draft survey to be used to rename Town Park. That will be done in 2 phases. The first phase will solicit names from the community, and the second phase will be voting on the top 5 to 10 names that come in, and that'll be determined by the total number of suggestions that we get, so it's statistically relevant. And then I would, it'll be in 2 formats. One, it'll be online. Hopefully we can drive people into the online survey, because that's a whole lot easier to tabulate and easier for people to take. And we will have paper copies of that survey around, as well as probably some flyers that have a code that QR code that folks can, that'll direct folks right to the online survey. I would look for that to be launched probably sometime in the first quarter of 2026. The second thing that they received at their most recent meeting was 2 draft designs for the Veteran Memorial. Those included outlines of construction. It's been designed so that it can be done in 5 phases. Those will have corresponding fundraising events and efforts, as well as then each of those 5 phases would present a dedication ceremony or celebration opportunity. And all of that will be the process that's made on the construction of that memorial will be based on funds. So we'll have a variety of fund raising events, including grants. I have a secret weapon, I hope, out of University of Southern Mississippi that's going to dig around and see what he can find. He's amazing what he's come up with for the university. And we certainly have received very generous donations already from the American Legion, and I know Maria's got her hand in a few things and is quite the consummate salesperson, so have faith in her. I want to also reinforce that we've begun shopping those 2 designs. initially with the American Legion members, and then we will certainly include the public in that, figure out a way to do a public, just kind of conversation and a presentation of those designs and get some comment. We will make sure we figure out, because bottom line is this is the community's Veterans Memorial, so they need to have some say. And then the third thing that was presented to them was a community engagement software. It's called See My Legacy. And I'm excited about this. I have been a volunteer coordinator for large organizations. I have been a fund development director for large organizations. I put off on events that require vendors, and this software can help you manage all of that. And it is specifically designed to work with municipalities. I actually spoke with one of the co-owners who I went through the presentation with, and I have since also forwarded that information to the Community Development Committee and Yvonne, and asked, I think it would be helpful to get Mary Ann and help Brenda's eyes on that, because they do the coordination of so many of the village events. The software allows you to do volunteer recruitment, volunteer sign-up, vendor recruitment, vendor sign-up, vendor payments for booth space or whatever it might be. Fundraising can be done, and then it literally will create the campaign design for all of that. So it feeds into a database, so it makes things a whole lot easier to manage. And I think it also, not just on the back-end management, but the front end. It is a little cumbersome right now, our volunteer recruitment and application process. So I think we can streamline that and make everybody's lives a little easier. So I will continue to follow through on that, and hopefully we'll have something decided early in 2026. And then the final thing I wanted to share is that the event chairs will be meeting before the end of 2025, and those this is another thing I'm excited about. So now we have chairs for 5 events. Yep, 5. The picnic, the community picnic, the parade, which I'm hoping to bring back, the oral history booth, street banners, and the Veterans Memorial. They all have chairs. So that is a huge, again, step that will allow us to continue to move forward and enjoy the 250th birthday of the United States of America here in the village. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Can I ask one?
Yeah.
If somebody'd like to make a donation by check, who is that made out to? Is it doing,
To the village?
is it the village? Or?
On the,
I didn't know if there's a separate committee or.
So far, what I'm getting for the American Legion, it comes of Village of Greenhills, and on the memo,
right, so it's on the
it has
memo
the
line.
particular event or a particular entity that money is going to be directed to. And it's always announced here, so Waycross has a record of it as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you. Thank you for asking the question.
I think we
Chief?
might want to take a little time, if we could, to see if maybe it's something that would require a special count, so we're not mingling, that could be
We'll have
very cumbersome, so.
We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll leave that financial decision and process
Yeah.
and systems
Okay.
to the experts. I'm happy to knock on doors and hold my hand out, but this is a great question. Thank
Yeah.
you. Any other questions?
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Keep up the good work. Okay, next, our librarian, Jennifer Weichert, Greenhills Branch Public Library.
Thank you for letting me come again and give you all the good news that's happening out of the library. I wanted to say that our Supplemental Snacks for Youth program has been going very well, and that continues both at Greenhills and at Forest Park and North Central and many of our others. And that snack program is supported through the generosity of the Library Foundation. So that's a new resource that we do have for our youth in the community. It is also November, and it is not too late to adopt a dinosaur. They need to be read to, they need to be cared for, and you will get an adoption certificate for any child who would like to stop in the library and pick out a dinosaur to adopt. But there will be history again very shortly. This will only run through the end of the month, so end of the week is the last chance to get your dinosaur. We will also have our table at Light Up Greenhills as well, as everyone else has said. We will also have our collectible button. Every year we have a different design. So we'll have our button maker out there, and you can make your own, or we'll have some already made up if you don't want to have to actually work the whole machine. But if you're curious, it'll be out there. We also have some fun programs coming up. We've got a bingo and snacks program for kids. Miss Amy will be hosting a special bingo and snacks program next Tuesday, December 2nd at 4:30 p.m. And also teens will have an opportunity to make a snowman ornament on Wednesday, December 17th at 4:30 p.m. Neither one of those require any registration, just come. Also, it is that time of year. We are closed on Thursday, but we are open on Wednesday and Friday and Saturday, our normal hours. And then for the month of December, all library locations are closed on the 24th and the 25th, and we will be closing at 5 p.m. on December 31st. Of course, digital stuff, Libby, all of the fun things we have online are available 24/7. So if you need the new book and you want to try and borrow it through an ebook or anything like that, that'll be available whenever you would like. We also have a new small selection of honor books and puzzles. So those are things that you just come in and you're welcome to browse them, borrow them, and bring them back when you're done. So if you have any questions about that, we can show you where they are, but we've got different levels of puzzles and everything. A number of the other branches do have this, and ours isn't like hundreds of them, but we do have a number. So please do stop in and take a look and see if there's something you would like to pick up before the holidays begin, and maybe you'll have an activity for folk to be working on while you're hopefully not burning down the kitchen. We also are providing access to streaming service with your library card. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Canopy or not, but that's kind of our answer to Netflix or some of the other ones. It is access that you get through your library card, and that is a streaming service that can be on your tablet, on your TV, on any smart device. And if you're kind of, how do I get started? Just bring your tablet on down, make sure it's charged, and we'll be happy to help you get started on it, everything. We've also got our whole slate of family story times and youth drawing club. Family story times are on Mondays at 10:30 a.m. Drawing club is on Mondays at 4:30 p.m. Our Secrets of Spice program will be doing cinnamon and nutmeg on Tuesday, December 2nd at 6:30 p.m. We also have an apple cider vinegar program on Wednesday, December 10th at 6:30. That one does have a limited supply, so please make sure you sign up for that one. We also have our mystery book club on December 15th at 6:30 p.m. And you will also be glad to know the tissue paper candle making program is actually battery-powered tea lights. So we have all kinds of fun coming up, and we hope you will drop in to see the library with all of the fun things coming up. Questions?
Okay. All right.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
And stop in at the library. All right, moving on, we have no proclamations. Reports of municipal officials, Municipal Manager Yvonne Kovac.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll review our legislation that's on the agenda tonight. First, will be a first reading for an ordinance to amend our peddler and solicitor section that we are now putting the responsibility to bring a background check on the person who's coming to get the approval from us. So we wanted to reflect that in our code. The other thing for residents, and I know there's a couple out there right now walking around that aren't approved. One actually knocked on my door, which was pretty nervy. But when you see it, call the police department and let them know that there's a peddler out there who's not been approved. I think it's for your safety. We also have cards we can make for you, or you can make your own that you can put in your window that's near your door that says no solicitors. So, we're trying to make this as safe a process as possible, but it's important that you participate with us and let us know. There you go. You can. So anyway, we can have those available for you, or you can feel free to make up your own. Also, after the first of the year, we'll have actual certificates that they will have with them. So ask them to show you their certificate. And if they don't have one, you can always check the website, because on the front page of the website, I don't sign off on it until I've put it on the website, so I know none slipped through the cracks. So that's another good backup to see if this person that's knocking at your door is legit. So excited about that legislation. The first of the resolutions, our long-term magistrate. How long has she been with us?
Let's say 18 years.
18
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Erwin will be leaving us. So this resolution allows the hiring of a new attorney to fill the magistrate position in our mayor's court. The next one is an additional supplemental. I forget what all those are for, but again, they're going to reflect a lot of year-end stuff. I'm sure we'll go through that at the time the legislation's read.
I will, yes.
Yeah, okay, good. And you have backup over there if you need it. Okay, the next one is our natural gas aggregation program. And this one's kind of, well, these seem to come up quickly, but remember we have an electric and we have a natural gas. This is the natural gas. It's been 2 years, and our rate has been 5.96, I think, for just a couple of years. And we will still be in the 5.9 range for that aggregation amount, but we have the option to set a fixed rate. It'll start out variable, but we can select a fixed rate during those 2 years if it lands in a good place. We did that once before and it was really good. I didn't have a lot of these charts back there, but I will be putting this up on the internet for you to see, because it reflects, since we started our programs, just how good our program has been. There is only one time, and our aggregation folks were able to tell us there was I forget what the issue was, but Duke had dropped rates due to some kind of rebate. But it only lasted for a really short period of time, and then our rate was like far superior, always has been. Anyway, I think this is really important information for you to see, especially as we're going into the time period where one line, the lower line, is our rate, the blue one is the fluctuations in Duke. So I'll get that up probably by Monday for everybody to take a look at. Anyway, so this is another 2-year round for the natural gas aggregation program, which will go into effect at the end of March, 1st of April. We have another one for some year-end assessments. Those are on properties where we had to either pick up the garbage or cut the grass. And then our annual renewal with Anthem for our health care. We don't have any changes in our program, and we had some ridiculous bids. We had one that was as high as like 75% or something in increase. Fortunately, our Anthem was the lowest at 13.3. Still hurts, but it was the lowest, so we were able to lock that one in. We would be with this, so. And then the final piece is our renewal contract with Swim Safe, and I think we reviewed that at the work session. It's a 3-year contract. First 2 years are a 3% increase, then no increase in the 3rd year. So, other than that, yes, we have Light Up coming up. We have some really fun things. We have some of the cutest animals who are coming to a petting zoo. I'm gonna put a picture up of them soon. Just seeing the picture is gonna make you wanna come. But we have a lot of neat activities, and I think the community board is a really fun thing that people get to do, hands-on kind of stuff. We'll have pizza, we'll have dancers and music, and the Historic Society has theirs that runs concurrently at the same time. I think they go about half hour longer than ours, maybe if you don't get up there during between 8, gives you another half hour to get up there and see their place. So it should be fun, and hopefully the weather will cooperate. Other than that, I do just want to mention a rather bizarre thing that we've had a number of instances where somebody's putting locks on our swings in the playground over at Bradford Playground, and it's just very odd. we don't know why, and then they disappear, but we are not putting those out, and we'd appreciate it if you see them to call the office and let us know when you see them. So that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Okay, any questions?
I do have a question. Is it possible, I know at one point the carriage ride, it was in front of the community building, and then it got moved. I don't know if it was behind the community building. I know that talking to Historical Society, they're willing to turn the sound down if that would allow that to happen again. It just seemed like a great place to drop off and pick up.
That's where we'll do it. That's where we've always done it.
That's
Oh,
where,
okay.
that's where we've
I'm not
always.
sure.
Well, because
That's where it was made.
there's been a couple of years.
Yeah,
I
well,
guess.
down in back, when we did it down by the market stand, I guess they went up there and around the commons, but I don't think we would have had music
Yeah, I
there.
thought.
But anyway,
I mean,
that's
I've
where it
been-
will be.
I've been doing that for
Okay.
10 years.
Yeah.
and it's-
It was it was a request. I do remember one time it was elsewhere, but maybe, because we've only had the carriage ride. Did we have it for Harvest Fest? Maybe that's the confusion.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah,
Might have been that, yeah.
could have been different outfit then. so.
And then, yeah, because I think we went to a new outfit last year, and we're having them back. Theirs is a
Okay.
wagon.
I do
And I think that
remember
one,
Jack being out
Okay.
front all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he'll be there again.
I mean, the biggest,
With a new
it was
footman.
probably when the parents from the dancers kind of stand,
In front
you
of
know,
the horse.
and, you know, and kind of have to shoo them out of the way, so you can get the horses through.
All right, thanks for that clarification.
Okay, moving on, Law Director Jeff Forbes.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few legislative updates. And the mayor reminded me of this one just right before the meeting. Wanted to let you know that the Ohio Senate did unanimously pass what's called Avery's Law, which we've talked about here before. It's House Bill 247, and it's about dangerous dog attacks. And actually what I confirmed is that it is passed in the House and now passed in the Senate, and it is on its way to the governor for signature.
Yeah.
So
Good.
once that gets signed and we have the final version of it, we can review it. Now, remember, all of that law will apply, and the county dog warden will be able to do all the things there. We'll take a look at it and see if it makes any sense to make any adjustments to our local ordinance. But even under what this new state law will do, it will give the county a lot more flexibility on how it deals with things. So there was that, and then also a week or so ago, the 4 different bills were all finally passed. They're on their way to the governor for signature, and they all have to do with property tax reform. So, yeah, and it's, what is it, House Bill 129, 309, 186, 335. They've all passed both houses. They've all come through their conference committee, and they're on their way to the governor for signature. I'll get just a very brief over it. It would take forever to really dig all the way into what all these do, but essentially, House Bill 186 has to do with something called the 20 mil floor, which really is more related to schools, but it puts in an inflation cap there so that it can't grow faster than inflation.
Like you did.
House Bill 335 does a similar thing, but on the inside millage rates. Basically gives county budget commissions the ability to adjust inside millage rates so that they don't grow faster than the last 3 years of inflation rates. And then the other two really get in the weeds about how these work. 309, House Bill 309 is probably the only one that has any more impact potentially to local governments. It gives county budget commissions the authority to modify the levies so when a village says we need a street levy of this many mills. Generally what happens is that goes down to the county budget commission looks at it and they say, oh, okay, you said you needed this much money, we've already confirmed that many mills, we'll get you this much money, and that's that. It goes on the ballot. This would allow county budget commissions to look at your carryover balance that you have in those funds and essentially decide you already have enough money for what you said you're going to do. So we're not going to approve your levy at the millage that you requested. So we're gonna have to wait and see how those play out. I mean, what my understanding is, what a lot of county budget commissions will be reviewing is to see if, and again, as an example, I'll say a street levy fund. They'll look and see what your carryover balance is, and if it's 100% of what you would be getting on your new levy, this gives them the authority to reduce or scale back your levy. Now, it also gives the local government the ability to sort of respond to that and say, yes, we know that our carryover balance is high.
I was going to ask if there was an appeal process.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it an appeal process exactly, but there is an opportunity where you can say, we know that just as an example, we know our balance is high, but that's because this year we anticipate doing a much more extensive road improvement project. Mm-hmm. So we know there's a balance there, and we know we need it, so it's not really your job to second guess what we need by way of millage on our levy. But it does give them more authority to review that. So, you know, these four, they've all passed, they're on their way to the governor, and I think essentially what they're saying is that with these, it has the potential of saving property owners. I mean, House Bill 186 says it could save property owners nearly $1.7 billion over the next 3 years.
I mean, a lot of this is just, well, I mean, it's housekeeping, but it also seems to be trying to get out ahead of the overall.
Right. I mean, and keep in mind,
ban of
all of this may end up being subject to or really displaced by the potential constitutional amendment that may end up on a future ballot if that group gets enough signatures to place that issue on the ballot. That issue would, it would basically, it just does away with property tax in Ohio. So inside millage, 20 mil floor, none of that stuff will matter anymore.
That's school related. So.
Yeah, so that's what this is. It's really trying to get out in front of a possibility to say, we are working on saving people property taxes. You don't need to take this step of abolishing property taxes completely. So, but we're going to have to see how they play out and how it may impact local governments who rely on those funds for the services that they provide.
Everything.
So that's legislative update. I don't have anything else tonight.
Okay, all right. Clerk of Council, you have anything?
No, I don't, sir.
Can I add something in this slot, though, if I could? We had issues with the clock for the public to know how many minutes and time they have left. It wasn't working, and then we had a good run where it was working, and now it's back to not working. So I think I'll see what we can do to replace that and make it more reliable. Because this whole thing of clicking away and also making it difficult for people out there to see it versus us, we can maybe deal with that. But I'll see what I can do on that.
Get a big one to mount up here that they can see.
Yeah. And why we're on that kind of logistics topic, another thing that was pointed out to me is it is a little bit awkward to sit out there, and now that our voice is being on the microphone is being reproduced, it comes from the back. Is that true? You hear our voices from the back when you're sitting out there versus the front?
I think
someone had mentioned that was the case. So that's just a little bit of a disconnect, that sound comes from behind you from the people talking in front of you. So I don't know if we could get a couple of.
I'm not convinced it's working right now.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay, moving on, Chief of Police, Jim Howarth.
Okay, I already took plenty of your time, but just a couple of things I'll mention is Yvonne and the food drive. I don't know if she'll talk about it, but if not, she should, because she did a great job trying to fill in the cruiser, which turned out to be really nice and had a lot of food in there. I know they appreciated it, so I appreciate that. And everybody that came up that day to fill the cruiser. It was great, so thank you for that. Light Up Greenhills, we've all talked about it. Our table will have Buskin cookies on it, so come see us. I ordered them today, so their service will be ready. So we look forward to that. Just a few statistics from the month of October. We responded to 223 calls for service, resulted in 8 criminal offense reports compared to 17 that were taken last October in 2024. Of the 223 incidents, we assisted the fire department in life squad runs 45 times, responded to 16 suspicious vehicles and/or persons. We had 7 domestic trouble runs. One of them arrested in a warrant, or one of them resulted in a warrant for domestic violence. The other one resulted in an arrest. We assisted mutual aid, our neighboring agencies, 20 times. We issued 38 traffic citations. We issued 35 traffic warnings. We arrested 4 operators for operating under the influence of alcohol and/or drugs. Investigated 4 auto accidents during the month. We took, to date, we've taken 145 criminal offense reports. Same time frame through October 2024, we had taken 165. And auto accidents investigated to date, we've taken 55 crash reports, and that compares to 49 crash reports taken during the same time period, 2024. So that's the end of my report, unless you have any questions.
No, but if I could just mention something real quick, because there's a really solid group of community representatives working on that food drive as well. And just wonderful people. I've enjoyed meeting them and working with them, and Courtney's been very instrumental in that as well. So.
Absolutely, thank you. I know a lot of people can use it this time of year.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Mayor's report, October 31st, ending bank balance $46,075.05. Checks to be issued to the state of Ohio, $1,455. Hamilton County, $48. And the Village of Greenhills, $5,183. I was wondering if the Finance Committee, before December meeting, could do an evaluation on Yvonne. And so we can have that done. Be thinking about who wants to go out and with me to do holiday light judging. And I'll be open to volunteers, and we'll pick a time. And then thank the residents for supporting the village's renewal of the recreation levy. And other than that, I have nothing else. Okay, reports of committees, finance and audit, Jack Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, at your place tonight is the general fund recap for the month of October. You'll notice we've had a little bump increase year over year as far as for the month of October, but we still show a slight decrease overall for the fiscal year 2025 on income receipts. Real estate tax is right on target. The general fund balance as of the end of October for 2025 is $2,272,877.56. There were no transfers for the month of October to mention, although we did have some additional funds through the expenses, and that was primarily due to finishing off the work on Farragut and Engram. So that was kind of a large chunk of change flowing through that we had to account for. So, and the transfers, again, there were no transfers. Finance Committee will be meeting to review the permanent appropriations for 2026 on December 11th at 10 a.m. And we will, at your direction, complete that evaluation prior to that meeting as well. So we have that in hand.
Okay.
Unless you have any questions, comments, that's the end of my report. Thanks.
All right, thanks. Community Development, Jim Bonner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would just like to thank Lisa for all the hard work she's doing in organizing the America 250 celebration. She has so much talent and experience to, think about how to structure and going out to the village and soliciting volunteers. So I'm excited about how things are coming together, and you're just doing a tremendous job. Thank you so much. Just wanted to mention one thing that Lisa had already mentioned about the park naming survey. So she has created a survey. We've already reviewed it in committee and agreed on its wording. So it's all set to go out in the new year. Exact date to be determined still, but and of course as residents solicit or not solicit, but provide names, we will share those too publicly, so everybody kind of gets a look at that before the votes go out. So that's all I have tonight.
Okay. Service and Streets.
I'll just mention that we have a Service and Streets meeting on December 9th, 6 to 6:30 p.m.
Okay. And Safety.
Same thing with an adjustment on time for our Safety Committee meeting. We've got a couple of topics. We talked about, we had the resident talking about the speed bumps, and we've got spent a little bit of research in preparation for that meeting, but we're going to be discussing that on December 9th, 5:30 to 6 prior to the Services and Streets meeting.
All right. Recreation, Cable Television, Rachel Hudson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to try and get this out. Just a reminder again for this Friday, having the light up Greenhills from 6 to 8. And then Recreation Committee will meet as well on Thursday, December 11th. And the only update for Waycross is that they're now getting into busy season with the basketball games and the concerts. So, of course, they're more than willing to take volunteers, and that's it.
Okay.
And it's amazing, we almost have her speechless.
Yes. Okay. Intergovernmental Affairs, Laws and Rules, Maria Walter.
We're going to have a meeting on December the 16th, about 6:15 approximately, following the community development meeting, which will begin at 5:30.
Okay, all right. Okay, this is an opportunity for residents and non-residents to make comments solely regarding legislation that's on the current agenda. Non-residents must obtain prior permission. When recognized, please come forward to the podium, complete the sign-in sheet, verbally indicate that if you're a resident of Greenhills or a non-resident, then state your comments. Comments will be limited to 4 minutes. Anybody?
Terry Trinan, 37 DeWitt Street. I would like a clarification on something. You're going to do a first reading tonight on the ordinance pertaining to solicitors and canvassers. I had a question about the section 737.04. This concerns residents that are posting a non-solicitation sign. And it looks like canvassers are not allowed to, let's see, let me get the wording right. A peddler, solicitor, or canvassing shall not call upon. Can you define that for me? I guess my question concerns if there's a no solicitation sign posted, can you drop on the front porch a political pamphlet? Can you
Yes.
drop an invitation to a church?
Yes.
Okay, so the call upon is what, just,
Knock at the door or ring the doorbell.
okay, so you have to like physically approach or make them aware that you were there?
Yes.
Okay, then I have no problem with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Patty and 32 Chalmers Lane. You did answer earlier that these peddlers will have a certificate in the future. That's how you recognize them. Is that correct, Ms. Kovac?
That's correct.
Okay. Then my other question would be about this aggregation. How do people opt out? Is that something that you put on the website?
A letter will go to them that will have our logo and the Direct Energy logo on it. And they have a form to fill out to opt out.
Okay, so this letter is going to everybody in the community?
I don't recall if it goes to everybody or if it goes to people who are currently in the program who may want to opt out.
Well, how would you know that?
I'll have to.
I think
We
it
don't
only
mind.
goes to the people that are in the program,
That's what I think, so,
Right.
because then they can opt
the
out.
present program.
So I just don't know it right off.
Okay, and how many homes are in the program now?
Oh, gosh, we have quite a few. I don't have that data up here with me, but it's well in the hundreds, I'm sure.
So anyhow, people were kind of roped into that,
No, they
whether or
aren't.
not
No,
they,
aren't.
I mean, if someone moves in, do they get a notice that they can choose or not choose, or
Yes.
how does this go?
We have a new resident packet that has a sheet that explains our aggregation program and who our providers are and how they would go about getting in the program.
Okay, so is this, when you come up with making a selection, was this also through the county taking bids from different providers?
No, this was actually through a private contractor, a consultant, and we did it with a few other communities. Loveland is one of them, Hamilton
So
Township.
you have a document that shows what rates they've suggested? You have a document that shows the
Yes.
various providers and what they offer to provide
Correct.
with their rates?
With their rates?
With their rates?
Oh, the rates, yes. And
Okay.
then,
So this would be similar
I didn't name all the
to,
people, but I guess we're not interested.
this is similar to the Rumpke, to the garbage thing that you went through the.
Correct, a bid. It was an official bid
Right.
process.
But why is it you're not able to give the paperwork to me that I've requested that shows the various rates that the garbage providers
Time.
have done?
No, up there.
Was time up?
Nope. She still
'Cause
hasn't
I
been-
can just tell you that the bid documents were blank forms. It's not till it got to the contract form that you would see the figures typed in, and you would probably have only seen Greenhills at that point, because they don't fill our contract with all the other communities. So the bid documents would have blanks.
So wouldn't what the county got back have a list of rates? I thought that's how you explained it, and then you chose which one you wanted.
They come back with, yes, each community had a few different choices of what you would take over the 5-year period. And yeah, we select ours.
And then the rates would be provided as to what their bid is, correct?
Correct, and that would be in the one that hadn't been signed. The document is signed now.
Okay, So you would be able to provide that as a public records request to disclose all the various rates that were presented to you for selection. Am I correct?
Yes. and you
Because I've
should
been
have
waiting
seen
for
that.
3 weeks and I still haven't received anything from you.
It was in the contract that I sent you.
No,
Your comment back on that was that why isn't it all signed? Because I didn't have it back from Rumpke signed yet.
You had no dollar amounts filled in.
Okay, well, that's
This
interesting. I'll
isn't
go back
about
and
the
look at it.
legislation on
Yes.
the agenda.
What I would like to
This doesn't
see,
have anything to do with this current legislation.
what we're interested in is seeing the hardcore evidence of the estimates that you're collecting before you're awarding contracts to various
So
utilities.
that would have been in the contract you received.
That's
Yeah.
what your
Thank you.
responsibility
Thank
is.
you.
That is your
Okay.
responsibility.
Anyone else?
You have to know how to read.
All right. Moving on. First things, ordinance number 2025-004, L&R, first reading. Maria Walter.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance 2025-004, Laws and Rules, LNR. First reading is by title only, amending various sections of Chapter 737 of the Village of Greenhills Codified Ordinances regarding peddlers and solicitors. And this is the first reading only by title only.
Oh, do we have to
Okay,
do anything?
first reading.
There's no voting or anything?
No.
Okay,
Nope.
great.
Okay, next, resolutions authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with Justin Bartlett to serve as Mayor's Court Magistrate for the Village of Greenhills. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2025-R25-F, resolution authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with Justin Bartlett to serve as the mayor's court magistrate for the Village of Greenhills. Whereas Section 1905.05 of the Ohio Revised Code provides that the mayor of a municipal corporation that has a mayor's court may appoint a magistrate to hear and determine prosecutions and criminal cases in the mayor's court that are within the jurisdiction of the mayor's court. And whereas the mayor and village council have determined that Justin Bartlett has the qualifications for the position of mayor's court magistrate, and whereas Section 1905.05 of the Ohio Revised Code provides that a municipal corporation shall compensate the magistrate pursuant to a contract entered into by the magistrate and the municipal corporation. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village, Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, that the municipal manager is hereby authorized to enter into a contract with Justin Bartlett to serve as the mayor's court magistrate for the Village of Greenhills. Section 2, that Justin Bartlett shall perform the services and receive compensation as set forth in an agreement substantially in the form of the agreement attached hereto Exhibit A and incorporated herein by reference. Section 3, that the finance director is hereby authorized to pay the compensation for said services according to the terms of the agreement. Section 4, that this resolution shall be in effect as of the earliest date allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions?
The village agrees to compensate the magistrate at the rate of $275 per court session for which he proceeds.
Okay. All right. Clerk, roll the council.
Halter?
Aye.
Hermes? Oh, absent, sorry. Lee?
Aye.
Hudson?
Aye.
Warner?
Aye.
Walter?
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2025, R25F passes. Next resolution is number 2025-R26-F, making supplemental appropriations. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2025 R26-F, resolution making supplemental appropriations and transfers. Whereas the 2025 annual appropriations that were adopted on December 14th, 2024 are to be amended. And whereas appropriations must not exceed the total available resources of the village per Ohio Revised Code 5705.36A5, therefore, an amended certificate of the estimated resources have been requested from the County Budget Commission. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Village, Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, since certain actions are needed and the monies appropriated so to permit the Village of Greenhills to meet its fiscal obligations for the year 2025, the following items of expenditures are to supplement the appropriations for expenditures for the year 2025. Fund description. Recreation Fund, account number 2041. Original appropriation, $67,700. Change is an additional $55,000, a new total of $122,700. Fund description, Police Fund 2901. Original appropriation $1,407,000. The change is an additional $30,000, and the total is now $1,437,000. Section 2, that the following transfers of funds be made from previously appropriated monies, none. Section 3, that this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the earliest date allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second?
Been moved and seconded.
And just to follow up on what the manager was saying earlier, the change for the Recreation Fund was to complete the payments on path construction. And the Police Fund, the additional $30,000 is for the SORs, or school resource officers, that were here this evening. And that amount will eventually be reimbursed back to the village from the school district. So.
Okay.
If I could just add, the amount to that going into recreation will also be reimbursed
Yes.
from our community development block grant.
Okay.
Good to know.
All right. Poll the council?
Oh, it's me. Holter?
Aye.
Hudson?
Aye.
Walther? Aye. Warner?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Who
Okay.
seconded that?
Resolution number 2025-R26-F passes.
Did you second that?
He did. He seconded.
I did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Next,
Sorry.
resolution number 2025-R27-SNS. Jeff Holder.
Thank you. I have resolution number 2025-R27-SNS, resolution authorizing all actions necessary to support the continuation of a governmental natural gas aggregation program with opt-out provisions pursuant to section 4929.26, Ohio Revised Code, directing the municipal manager to enter into a supply agreement with Direct Energy Services, LLC, to continue a natural gas aggregation program beyond March 31st, 2026, when the current supply agreement ends. Whereas the Ohio legislature has enacted natural gas deregulation legislation, HB number 9, which authorizes the legislative authorities of villages to aggregate to the retail natural gas loads located in the respective jurisdictions and to enter into service agreements to facilitate for those loads the purchase and sale of natural gas. And whereas governmental aggregation provides an opportunity for residential and small business customers collectively to participate in the potential benefits of natural gas deregulation through lower natural gas rates, which they would not otherwise be able to have individually. And whereas this council finds and determines that it is in the best interest of the village its residents, businesses, and other natural gas consumers located within the limits of the village to continue its natural gas opt-out aggregation program, subject to the conditions of a natural gas supply agreement amendment that will take effect on or about April 1st, 2026. And now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Hamilton County, State of Ohio, that Section 1, the municipal manager is hereby authorized to execute a master services agreement, MSA, with Direct Energy Services, LLC, to facilitate the sale and purchase of natural gas to consumers in the village's opt-out program. Section 2, that it is found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, that this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval, from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move that move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? And I'll make a comment. I guess we should have asked the individual to give us a recent update on the savings that this program has saved the village residents that were in the program. And it's in excess of more than $1 million that have saved in people's utility bills since we got into the aggregation program. And why many communities have now adopted this type of program. Okay. Clerk, poll the council.
Lee?
Aye.
Halter?
Aye.
Warner?
Aye.
Walter?
Aye.
Hudson?
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2025-R27-SNS passes. Next resolution, number 2025-R28-SNS. Jeff Halter?
Mine as well, okay.
Yeah, you get-
Resolution, thanks, Melanie. Resolution number 2025 R28 SNS, resolution authorizing assessments on certain properties in the village of Greenhills. Whereas the village has given proper notice to the owners of certain real property in the village of Greenhills regarding the removal of vegetation, refuse, garbage, and/or debris from the properties listed below. And whereas the owners of said properties did not take action to remedy the violations, and therefore the village of Greenhills contracted to remove vegetation, refuse, garbage, and/or debris, and now seeks to collect said expenses by authorizing the placement of a lien upon the lands and collect it as other taxes. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, that the Village Council hereby certifies that the cost of such labor, together with the expenses relative thereto, be filed on the return and statement to the Hamilton County Commissioners as an assessment against the properties listed and placed as a lien against the properties by the Auditor of Hamilton County, Ohio, as follows. Parcel number 597-0010-0030-00, address 385 Ingram Road, Raymond Kahn, owner, cost $191.30. Parcel number 597-0020-0034-00, address 5 Gambier Circle, owner, Frederica Lawler. Cost is $284.61. Parcel number 597-001-0028-00, 373 Ingram Road, owner, Belinda Ridgway, $207.06. Parcel number 597-0070-0053-00, 12 Andover Road, Bonafide Realtor is the owner, LLC, $139.80. Parcel number 597-0031-0057-00, address 38 Handle Lane, Vinebrook Homes Borrower 2, LLC, cost $633.17. Parcel number 597-0031-0057-00, address 38 Handle Lane, Vinebrook Homes Borrower 2 LLC, cost $287.37, for a total of $1,743.31. Section 2, all amounts collected as a result of this resolution shall be placed into the general fund of the Village of Green Hills. Section 3, this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage. I recommend that, Mr. Mayor, that we pass this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions?
What's the purpose of having the one address on there twice?
They actually did it 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, okay.
Put out garbage after we get notifications not to.
Okay, great.
We just kept up.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Walther?
Hold the count.
Aye.
Warner? Hudson?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Holter?
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2025-R28-S&S passes. Okay, next resolution, number 2025-R29-F. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2025-R29-F, authorizing the municipal manager to enter into an agreement with Anthem for the providing of health insurance coverage for the employees of the Village of Green Hills. Whereas the Village of Green Hills provides health insurance benefits for eligible employees, and whereas the village has utilized HUB, previously known as Horan Associates, to request and review proposals for health insurance coverage from various carriers and determine that the proposal submitted by Anthem is the best proposal for the village in terms of quality, service, adaptability, and reflects a continuation of current plans. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of Village Green Hills, Ohio, Section 1, that the municipal manager is hereby authorized to enter into an agreement with Anthem for the purpose of providing health insurance for eligible employees for the term January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2026. Section 2, that the village will offer one PPO plan, option D57 from Anthem. The village will continue with the 80 employer, 20 employee premium split. Section 3, that the finance director is hereby authorized to pay Anthem monthly premiums total an annual amount of approximately $249,678, said amount fluctuating depending upon the number of persons enrolled in the plan. Section 4, that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its adoption. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none, clerk poll the council.
Holter?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Hudson?
Aye.
Warner?
Aye.
Walter?
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2025-R29-F passes. Next resolution, number 2025-R30-REC, REC. Ms. Hudson.
I will
You'll do that.
be reading on her behalf here. You okay? Resolution 2025-R30-REC concerning authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a swimming pool management and maintenance agreement with Swim Safe Pool Management, Inc. Whereas the Village of Green Hills owns the Green Hills swimming pool, and whereas the Swim Safe Pool Management, Inc. is in the business of managing, operating, and servicing the community's swimming pools and has been operating the Green Hills swimming pool for the past 14 years. And whereas council has determined that continuing with Swim Safe to operate the pool is prudent to assist in the protection of public peace, health, safety, and welfare. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village, Greenhills, Ohio, members elected thereto concurring. Section 1, that the municipal manager is hereby authorized to enter into the swimming pool management and maintenance agreement with Swim Safe Pool Management, Inc. on file in the municipal manager's office. Section 2, that this resolution shall be and is effective from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments? All right.
We do a comparison with, I mean, there's really only one other company locally
Right.
that does that, and that is competitive rates.
Okay. Clerk poll the council.
Halter,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Hudson,
Aye.
Warner,
Aye.
Wolfen.
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2025-R30-REC passes. Next item on the agenda, people have council comments from anyone?
Mayor, not a council comment,
Oh.
but this might be the right time. I forgot at the end of my report to mention that we would like to have an executive session on the disposition of real property. That's all on the agenda.
Okay.
So if we could add that
All right.
at the appropriate time.
Okay, municipal calendar, we have light up on the 5th of December.
Laws and rules, December the 16th, approximately 6:15.
And community development on the same date at 5:30.
Finance, December 11th, 10 a.m. Recreation to follow, same day.
Safety, December 9th, 5:30 to 6, and then services and streets at 6, on December 9th at 6 p.m.
All right, it's an opportunity for residents to appear before council. This is the time for citizens to comment on matters before council. When recognized, please come forward to the podium. Complete the sign-in sheet, verbally indicate if you're a resident of Green Hills or a non-resident, then state your comments. If you have questions, the questions will be recorded and referred to the manager's office for response. This will allow time for thoughtful and thorough consideration to be given to each question. Council meetings are recorded for ease of transcriptions. Comments are limited to 4 minutes. Speakers may not yield any or all of their time to other speakers.
I've also noted that the timer is now working. And
Okay.
I will take credit as user error, not machine error.
Monique Mason-Halter, Greenhills resident. At last month's meeting, I asked council members to consider submitting a comment of opposition to FCC docket 25-276 entitled Build America, Eliminating Barriers to Wireless Deployments. The Federal Communications Commission, or FCC, is proposing new rules to speed up the approval of cell towers and wireless equipment in neighborhoods with sweeping new rules that override local authority and undermine community control over where and how cell towers, small cells, and wireless antennas are built. Many American communities, including ours, have adopted ordinances to ensure cell towers are placed responsibly and in alignment with community values. If you are opposed to losing control over wireless deployment, it's important to contact our federal lawmakers, Davidson, Houston, and Marino, because they are over the FCC and because federal legislation continues to be proposed to override local authority, in addition to this docket. So back to the docket. Last month, I gave you 2 printouts that included more information about it and how to submit a comment. There is a 30-day public comment period, which will begin upon publication of the NPRM docket number 25-276 in the Federal Register. Reply comments will be due 45 days after publication. I've given you an additional printout about the docket from the National Organization Environmental Health Sciences. I'm going to read excerpts from it now. From their webpage, the FCC's plan to fast-track cell towers. Why your voice matters. To preserve local control, the FCC could implement rules that force cities and towns to follow short permitting timelines called shot clocks, limiting the time they have to properly evaluate cell tower applications. If a city or county doesn't approve a tower within the 150-day window, it could automatically be approved no matter what residents wants. The FCC also wants to cap fees, impacting local government's ability to be properly compensated for their comprehensive review and administrative costs. To defend democracy, shortened shot clocks will likely cut the time for the public notice and hearings, reducing opportunities for residents to learn about cell tower proposals and to provide meaningful input, limiting the public's ability to have a meaningful voice in the decision-making process. To maintain property values. With cell towers, property values can drop. Studies and realtor surveys show that 94% of buyers would pay less or avoid homes near a tower, and properties within cell tower sightlines often take longer to sell. To respect visual harmony. The FCC refers to aesthetic requirements, height limits, camouflage, or landscaping as potential barriers to wireless expansion. The FCC wants to redefine and narrow what aesthetic and design rules are allowed. To protect health and safety. There are numerous health and safety issues related to cell towers near homes and schools. We've gone through that already. I'd like to again thank council members for writing a letter to the FCC asking the agency to comply with the 2021 court order to update the RF wireless radiation guidelines, which were last updated in 1996 when there weren't nearly as many cell towers. As of this month, 18 Ohio state lawmakers have also written to the agency about this. The agency just refuses to comply with the court order. So again, please speak up to our federal lawmakers.
Thank you. Monique,
Yes.
do you have a date when that docket is going to be released?
My understanding is they just turn it on, and then, so there's no date. It has not, you can still submit, yeah, you can submit comments.
Make those comments.
You can submit comments, but it hasn't been opened yet. But you can still submit now, but once it opens, then you have 30 days.
Okay.
So submit the comment now and just, look for it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Patty in 132 Chalmers Lane. Recently, we had an election, and I'd like to congratulate Mr. Bonner. How do you say your name? Borner, okay, and Ms. Courtney. I hope that you conduct yourself with civility and integrity. I've decided that no question am I ever going to be a politician, It's just that I get mad as hell when I see you people running unopposed. So I throw my hat in the ring. What I truly am is a political activist. A political activist works to change public policy and bring about social or political change through actions like protesting and advocacy, while a politician seeks and holds elected office. Activists typically operate outside the formal system of power, whereas politicians work within it. But they don't necessarily work to our benefit, and that's one reason I'm an activist. When Dave Moore first took position as a mayor, he was bragging about that he was sitting on the bully pulpit. And I found that very offensive then, and today I still find it offensive. A political activist's primary role is to campaign for change and advocate for specific causes, ideas, and social issues. I have a website that's been paid for another 2 years and 7 months, and trust me, it will be looking at you with quite a microscope. Methods. Uses a range of methods often outside of traditional political channels such as protests, demonstrations, boycotts, petitions, and public awareness campaigns. The relationship to power aims to influence those in power from the outside, acting as a check on their authority and looking at their history of fraud, waste, and abuse. The focus also takes a more uncompromising stand to achieve their goals, and sometimes it leads to arrest. Sometimes in Greenhills, you can be arrested if you're just running for office. And I am the cookie cutter example of why that happens in Greenhills, but it's not going to happen anymore. Civility. Listening without interrupting and being respectful of differences and using polite and considerate language in disagreements. I hope you guys, and you, Ms. Courtney, in terms of social media, I'd like to know who authorizes various people that are claiming to be representing our community to speak with disrespectful type of comments and lies on the internet. Yes, a public verbal assault can be prosecuted in Ohio, especially if it constitutes a threat that causes the victim to fear for their safety. David Moore, you know all about this on November 4th. It's grossly abusive of behavior, disorderly conduct, assault. You can be charged with assault, disorderly conduct. Abuse of power. Unaccountable abuse of power or impunity is the use of authority without responsibility, oversight, or consequences. It can occur in government. It's enabled by systemic flaws and a lack of institutional checks and balances in an environment of fear and apathy. It's not going to continue, Mr. Moore. Your reign is almost over. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Oh, I did want to read the Beatitudes. Blessed are they who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil things against you because. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. And for the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Matthew 5:3-12. So in other words, I feel like I've been rescued by the hand of God. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay.
I'll say that as far as social media goes, no one has any worries there because they always block Miss Antoine because of her antics. Nobody wants to deal with it, so I don't know where that would even come from.
Yeah.
You know, and I
Okay.
would like to say that the village does not take comments on there, so if you ever really want to find out what's accurate, look at the village's Facebook
Okay.
instead of reading all that other stuff.
Okay, and I have a motion to go into executive session.
And it's for the purpose of discussing the disposition of real property.
I'd like to make
I
a,
move that we go into executive session for the purposes of
What he said.
property disposition.
Disposition of real property.
Second.
Okay, we'll second. Okay, We'll take a short break before we start the session.
And we don't anticipate any action.
No.
after the
Right, there'll be
executive
no
No action
action
after.
after this.